Three. I hope you're well and have had a good day so far. Today in our science, we're going to be looking at shadows and light. We're going to be thinking about the work you've already done and just recapping some of those elements so that we're clear on everything we need to be knowing, because the work that you've done is really important. We don't forget it in the week that you've had away from school. So to be successful today, we need to understand why we need light. We need to see how light travels. We'll need to clarify and make sure we understand what light sources are. And then we're going to have to empathize with people and gorillas who are in the dark. Finally, we're going to show some awareness of what shadows are and how they are formed. Okay, so we understand what they are. Okay, guys, here I've got a table, and this is just to repeat and recap some of our key bits of language. The three most important pieces of language, I think, that we take away from this topic. So we've got three words which are transparent, translucent, and opaque. You can see those at the bottom of the screen. Okay, and you can also see there's a drinks can that's blue. You can see a glass that's shaded blue, and you can see some glasses which would enable somebody to see. Now, one of these words and one of these images is of something which is not able to be seen through. Okay, it's not transparent. One of these, if you look at the middle row from our table, is something which allows light but not detailed shapes to pass through. It's semi-transparent. And then one of these, because it's not transparent or semi-transparent in the first two, you could probably guess which one. One of these allows light to pass through so that objects behind can be distinctly seen, can be clearly seen. Okay, right, guys, what do you think? Which picture goes with which definition? What do you reckon? Have a think. So what is not able to be seen through? What can be seen through but not very clearly, and what can be seen can allow you to see things through clearly, distinctly. What do you reckon? Let's see how you got on. The screen should move on. Okay, yeah, you can see, guys, that our opaque one is not able to be seen through. So that's the first, the can. The translucent one is the image, that's the second one, which is the glass. The third one then is the transparent glasses, and they need to be transparent because if they block out our capacity to see, they start being a hindrance rather than a help. Okay. Now we can see, therefore, that there's the opaque one, that first one, which we can't see through, the translucent one, which we can see through, but we can't see as clearly as through the third one, which is the transparent one, the one that's clear. Okay, so transparent, opaque, and translucent. Three pieces of language, really important we take away from this topic. Okay. Right, guys, light then. A light is a beam of energy that travels in a wave from a source. Okay, so a light source is something such as a torch, such as the sun, from which light emerges. Okay, a wave of light. What kind of line can it travel in? Here, wait, need to shout out, Dominic. Yeah, it's a straight line, isn't it? It's a straight line that it can travel in. So well done if you've remembered that. And you can see the gentleman to just above my head, in fact, he's just there. He's got his torch in his hand, and his torch is his light source. And you can see, although it's getting wider as it comes away from his light source, that's just because the direction of the beam of light, the beam of energy, is such that it's spreading out that way. It's not that it's getting wider. It's just the individual bits are going wider as they go away, but it is in a straight line from the initial light source. Now, waves of light are also called light rays. So we could say the light rays. Okay. Now, what I'd like you to try and do, if you can, is see if you can get three pieces of card. So if you get one piece of card, what you can do is try and rip it, or if you've got scissors, that'd be even better. My children have hidden my scissors on how to rip it. So if you can rip it, that'd be great. And when you've got your three pieces of cards, what you're going to do is hold the piece of card so that the holes line up. Okay, so you punch the holes in there. So if you haven't got a hole punch, just a pencil. You might need a grown-up to tell you. If not, just be careful. Make sure you don't hurt your fingers. And poke through some holes. One, I'm going to do two. Okay, and we'll just do one more. Okay, so you can see now I've got three holes that are all lined up. So my three pieces of card are on top of each other, and I can see you. You might not be able to see me, but I can see through. Okay, now if you see, I'm going to try and use my phone as a torch. Okay, so see if you can see. I don't know if this works very well, but you can see the light coming through. And if I turn, I can see on my face the light comes through. Now, the way that I can prove that light doesn't travel around corners is if I move one of these so that they're not lined up. What happens then? Can I still get the light on my face? When it's lined up, the light comes through. Oh, very powerful. Now, if they're not lined up, does it come through? Why don't you try that? Okay, just try that, just so you understand a little bit better about how light travels. Okay, because it's always in that straight line. Now, light sources, we've spoken about these before, and we highlighted some that we weren't sure whether they were or were not. Now, in your pack today, you've got these 24 potential light sources. These are all nouns, all things. So, with your nouns, with your things, what do you think? Which ones of these are light sources and which are not? In your pack, you've got a table to put them in. So you might cut them up and put them in the table, or you might write them down to see whether they are light sources or not. If you choose not to do that, maybe what you can do is get two colours. You could get a yellow and an orange. And if it is a light source, maybe you could highlight it yellow. And if it's not, highlight it orange. Okay, so which ones do you think are? We've already said that the sun is, isn't it? Because that's where the light that we see in the sky comes from. Okay. How about my pencil? Can I see in the dark with my pencil? Okay. How about the window? Is the window making its own light? What do we think? Not sure? Are there any others that you're not sure about? Looking at these, are there any others that you're not sure about? Should we see? I think there's at least three that are a little bit confusing. And those three are the moon. A lot of people think that the moon's a light source, but it's not. It's just reflecting the light from the sun. Now, the window doesn't actually make its own light. Unless you put a light on the window, it's not a light source. The light is the sun or the street light outside. And again, the mirror is like the moon, it's reflecting the light, it's not making its own light. Okay, so those three are actually a little bit confusing because we sometimes think that they are light sources, but they're not. Okay, they're either using the reflections of light or the light is coming in through them. Now, why is the light able to come through the window? What kind of glass have we got? Is it opaque? Is it translucent or is it transparent? Yeah, it's opaque. No, it's translucent, isn't? Oh, transparent. What? So everybody can see me? Oh, now I feel very silly because my window's just behind the laptop where I'm recording this video, and people can see me talking, and it's very strange because I look a little bit like I'm talking to myself or my flowers. But because I've got a transparent window, people in the street could see me doing that. Okay, if I had an opaque window, it would be very dark unless I turned my light on a bit more, and I'd have privacy so I could talk to my monkey if I want to, and he's going to talk to us in a little bit. Okay, so that's our light sources. Now, our monkey's going to help us, our gorilla, should I say, sorry, he's going to help us in a little bit when we're thinking about this question. What is dark? Now, dark is the idea that there's no light, the absence of light. If there's no light from a light source, such as the sun, such as a torch, such as a lighthouse where the bulb is emitting light, it'll be dark. Now, if it's dark, what would make it light? So if it was dark in this room, I'd need to have opaque windows or opaque curtains, or outside the sun would need to not be shining. But in the room, how could I make it dark? So if I turn, okay. Now, if it's dark, there's a problem because you can't always see what you want to see. Now, I'm just going to send Monkey over there. So, Gorilla, can you go and look out the window? Okay, see you later. He's gone to have a look out the window, my friend. He's called Gorby the Gorilla. Now, I'm play a little trick on it. These are about the same size. This is a tub of mayonnaise, and this is a tub of chocolate. And I'm going to tell him that in this sock, there's one of those things, and in the other sock, there's another one of these things, and he has to guess. And because he can't see, he might guess the mayonnaise. So it's a little game to play where because you can't see, it's trickier suddenly, isn't it? Gorby, are you going to come back? Right, Gorby. Now, you've seen me, haven't you? You saw the chocolate on the table, didn't you? So I'd like you to have a guess at this. So I know you haven't been listening, Gorby. What do you think is in this sock? What do you think's in this sock? It's chocolate, isn't it? So if it's chocolate, Gorby, will you eat whatever's in the sock? Yeah.
Okay.
So Gorby's going to eat the chocolate that he thinks in the sock because he's felt it and it feels like chocolate. It rustles like chocolate. Are you sure it's chocolate?
Well, pretty sure. I haven't seen it because it's dark. I looked in it, but I can't really see it in there because it's dark.
So he can't see it in there, but he thinks it's chocolate. Gorby, bad news, mate. It's mayonnaise.
Oh no, I don't want to eat mayonnaise. If only it wasn't dark.
It's all right, Gorby. I'll let you have the chocolate instead. Okay. So,
Oh, thank you.
okay. So Gorby's going to go and have his chocolate. He's going to go away now. But when it was dark, he couldn't see that it was chocolate. So there was chocolate. I wasn't being that mean. There you go, Gorby. You go and eat that. So if it's dark, sometimes you can't see things, even though you know some of the features of them. Now, maybe you can play the sock game. Make sure you've got clean socks. These are from our odd sock bag because we get lots of odd socks in our house. So maybe you can play the game with somebody at home, see if they can guess what's in your darkened space. And if they can, then maybe give it to them. If they can't, maybe give them a little bit of a not quite as nice treat. So see if you can play that game. Now, shadows are something that's linked to light as well. What kind of object is it? Is it transparent objects that don't let any light through? No, it's opaque, isn't it? It's opaque objects that block the light out. Now, when opaque objects block the light out, they stop it traveling any further. So it's come from a light source and it hits an opaque object and it can't get through. It can't get through that opaque object. And therefore, they create shadows. They're areas of darkness where light has been blocked. Okay, so you can see the gentleman to the right. He's got his box in his arm, and consequently, you can see that he's creating the shadow against the wall and on the floor. Now, this is somebody called Isaac. I know we've got an Isaac in year 3, and I've got an Isaac in my house sometimes as well. Now, this Isaac's got a new baby sister, okay? And what he's going to do, she's very good, but she keeps crying early morning because it's getting light. So it's a bit later in the year when Isaac's talking about this. It's spring and summer. And he wants to choose the best materials to make some new curtains for her bedroom. And what I'd like to do is set you a little bit of a challenge, and I'd like you to do that as well. You've got some other work to do first. So we've got our light source or not light source sorting activity. And then what I'd like you to do is for the second piece of work, I'd like you to go on a bit of an object hunt. Now, we did that for our opaque object before, where we've found opaque things in 2 minutes. But I'm actually going to ask you to draw some diagrams for this time. So in the transparent column, you can see my torch to the left, and then you can see that it goes through my transparent glass, and therefore the light continues to go through. What would happen if it was a translucent cup? What would happen if it was an opaque object? So I'd like you to draw the diagram to show the light source, the object, and then what light travels through it for each of those. Now, I'm not the best diagram drawer. That's why I used a computer to help me. But if you have a good go at it, I'm sure some of you, like Imogen's done before, are going to produce some absolutely spectacular pieces of work. So I look forward to seeing those. And Ange, I'd love to see if you can have a go at helping Isaac out. Because for our extra bit of work, Ange, we're going to be looking at Isaac and his curtains. Now, how could you help him to make some curtains? Could you make some curtains? Show me with a light source that no light's getting through so that our little baby sister or our little baby gorilla is able to sleep. Could you show that for me and show that we've got a snoozing gorilla or a snoozing little sister? I'd love to see that with your opaque curtains. Thank you very much for listening, Year 3. Can't wait to see those curtains, those examples of opaque, translucent, and transparent objects, and those sorted out light sources and not light sources. Lovely to see you again. Well, I haven't seen you again, but lovely to talk to you all again, and see you soon. Bye bye.